All right, well, a random, not normal, outside the ordinary stream for you guys. This is going to be a Phantom Blade Zero State of Play waiting room. You guys know we like to do waiting rooms. If you're watching this later, you're like, what in the world is that? I stream every day, and one of the things we like to do is hang out before an event and just talk about it, what we're expecting to see, kind of meet new people. It's a great way to get more folks on the channel, a part of our community in the Discord. So members, make sure you're active in the Discord. Make sure you're part of everything going on in there. If you're watching this later, hit like. That helps me. Hit subscribe. That helps me. We're trying to regularly hit the channel with uploads, with live streams. We try to have a very, very active community here. So when you subscribe, you're definitely going to get a pretty steady stream of gaming news and live discussions. I do a Safe for Work broadcast every day, Monday through Friday, so that way you can kind of get through your work day listening to the various things going on in gaming news, passionate debates, back and forth, always in a way that we do Safe for Work. So let's get the timer up. You guys can retain all your work already on the goal from the day, 37 to YouTube and 15 from Twitch. Thanks for all those renewals and gifteds. And thank you guys for being here. You can see there we have roughly 3 hours until the event, which I don't do this. It's very late for me. I just had dinner with the fam. They're getting all their things ready for school, and I was like, I got to go back down and get to work. So hopefully we have a good evening. Hopefully the event is very, very good and the show is good. So welcome on in. As you guys are going through the ritual, of saying hello and all the things, make sure and hit the like button. Yeah, today's show was great. Good vibes, good conversations, We enjoyed it, keeping it positive. Thank you for being here over there as well on Twitch. Aocean Blue, Snake Eyes, Moonlight, and then C Money's going to kick things off. Han shot first, and so did you. First gifted member of the evening. Thank you very, very much. And, yo, what's good, Mikey Bot? How are you? Appendix burst a few weeks ago. Oh, golly. Hopefully you're okay. Well, obviously you're not dead, so you made it. You survived. Those surgeries are rough. Rare Killer with 59 months. Welcome back in, getting us to 54 on the week. Thank you. Hello, in chat. I'm really interested in this topic. I'm not, but I came to check. Hope everyone is doing okay and enjoy the show. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. If you guys are not into the topics, but you show up anyway, that is an enormous help to me. If more and more people do that, just to kind of lurk and listen and vibe, even if the topics are kind of like outside of what you're interested in, that is an enormous help to me. What do we have for dinner? Madam made like ribs with rice and broccoli. It was very good. So it hurts. Yeah, I was in the hospital for like a week recovering from mine whenever I had that major surgery because it was supposed to be a simple one, but it had burst and they didn't know. Mikey Bot with 9 months gets us to 55, and Terminal Stupidity drops the first big bomb of the week, a 10 bomb to kick off the evening, and a single from Rare Killer to add to the rambunctiousness. Mikey Bot says, much better. It wasn't fun. Good to see you all again. Give this man a like and subscribe. Well, thank you, Mikey Bot. We appreciate that very much. They already sold me on the game. Demo. Yeah, I'm thinking they might drop a demo tonight. You know what I mean? They said there'll be a surprise. I don't know if the surprise was supposed to be Donnie Yen. Maybe that's what they thought the surprise was. So, Moonlight says, did Sony say roughly how long it will be? No, we could look it up and see if it's in the description, though, because sometimes they do that. Let's take a little gander here. Let's take a little gander. All right. So here we go. It says here, we're excited to share Phantom Blade is now available for pre-order. We're also having a deeper look at the game, a deep dive. Okay, here's the time. And then the ultimate goal is to draw on the deep well of authentic Chinese folk arts, and martial arts. So we don't have a time. No. So usually a single game state of play is around 20 to 30 minutes. If it's longer than that, that'd be unusual. So, yeah. Make sure you guys on YouTube, thanks for going through the ritual of hitting the like button. Listen, if you got a gifted member, be sure to say thank you to the people that did that. They just provided you with access to our members-only Discord for an entire month. So make sure you guys cash in on that. That is a huge help to us when we get more and more people into the Discord. That's where all the fun stuff happens that's not on the channel. So you got your green rooms, you got your town halls, maybe some spur-of-the-moment community games that I might do with you guys here and there. That's where you're going to want to be a part of those things. And yeah, I've been looking forward to Phantom Blade Zero for a while, but I kind of feel like my excitement was always a little bit baked with some trepidation, because the way they always showcased it was this insane, intense, just buck wild, what people were describing as like vertical slices. Like they would show you a crazy fight. You know, what's good, Jack? How are you over there on Twitch? I'm not saying your full name. You know, they'd show you a vertical slice, and you're like, okay, well, clearly these guys have chops, but we didn't really know beyond some of those slices, like, is the game going to be ready? Is it going to be high caliber? The more and more they've shown, the more I'm like, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. They're a quality studio that does quality work. Definitely weird for a state of play to be this late at night. We have to remember this is a Chinese developer, and their primary target audience is China on PC. D Dizzle with 58 months. Welcome back, getting us to 67. If you guys missed Saturday, it was so stinking fun. You really missed out. Madam and I hung out. We were laughing and having a good time, just chilling with you guys. And then we played Big Walk with you. So it was a community game night. All right? If you guys want to do that again this week, you're going to want to average about 150 a day, which is pretty easy with all the people renewing all the time. So always make sure and celebrate those renewals. And the gifteds add up quickly. But we'll do that again. Now, we'll stream no matter what if you guys get to the 500. But if you do stretch, we'll do another combination. It's a late night for us. And we do have our early Sunday mornings. That schedule is back in full swing, so we have to get up early on Sundays. But we are happy to spend those Saturdays with you guys when you hit those goals, and support like that makes it very, very easy and fun to say, hey, let's do a stretch stream where we play a game with you, play a game with each other, and that was a really fun night. The official PlayStation channel chat is going to be cursed. I mean, who cares? The creators that have talked about the game said it doesn't play like a traditional Souls. I hope it feels good. Well, when the developers have been interviewed about this one in particular, they've talked about how it's not a Souls, but it's also not like explicitly just an action game either. They kind of want it to be its own thing, which I think is really interesting. I wish I could have done last Saturday. It looked so much fun. I was jealous. Well, we can do it again, and up to 10 people can join us. So thank you, C Money, for the 10 stream streak. What's good, Wolf Saints? He says, how many people have gotten with your name? Yeah, Jack is fine. Yeah, he's been around here for a while, so I don't know. He might get a lot of people all over Twitch. What's good, Brooklyn Breed? Good to see you, sir. Thank you guys for being here. Don't forget the ritual. Soon as you get to the stream, hit that like button. It helps us. We'll probably be meeting tons of people for the next couple of hours here. More action than Souls. Yeah, I think they wanted to be more action, but they also were like, it's not strictly like an action game either. There's a state of play today? Yes. Aren't they usually around 5 p.m.? Yes. This is a Chinese developed game, and it is not published by Sony, but Sony secured console exclusivity, I think, for 1 year. And so they're doing a state of play, and I think this is part of their ongoing efforts to grow their footprint, presence, and sort of I think they want their market share in China to grow. So this will be taking place at 10 a.m. Beijing time. So it'll be 10 in the morning in Beijing. So that's part of the reason why this is happening when it is. Phantom Blade Zero has multiple difficulty settings. If you want it to be that difficult, raise the difficulty settings. This is better to me. You decide. Night stream, y'all. Make sure and show your support with that like button. That'll help. Get those first 100 likes. We've only been streaming for about 9 minutes. So let's get that sucker cranked. You know what I mean? Let's crank it. Let's see. PlayStation should have another state of play with multiple games. A normal show coming next month as well. Don't they usually do one in September? I feel like they like September. I'm not sure quite how they're going to do that, though, with Wolvie. So, I don't know. Maybe they do one as a preamble to Wolvie. I don't know if they've done that. Has the pattern been that they like to do a state of play like right before a game comes out? I'm not sure. I'm not dropping frames or anything, but I'm skipping like crazy on my Twitch dashboard. Let me refresh. Are you guys okay over there? I'm seeing lots of hitches on Twitch's end over there. It seems totally fine on my end, though. I'm not really sure what's happening. This is just Phantom Blade Zero. So far it's been okay. Yeah, I can't even watch my own stream. Like, it's bad. It might be my internet, but what is this? Location settings are active. No. Turn off. Turn off location settings. Maybe something's running in the background of my gaming rig. Not sure. Yeah, it just keeps hitching when I'm trying to watch over there. Well, hopefully that's not an issue with my internet to where I'm gonna, Oh, I think it's Chrome. Let me just close and reopen Chrome. I don't think it's my internet at all. Yeah, let's just close and reopen. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I like to have the dashboard pulled up, and I like to have everything ready to go in case I need to see anything. And it was hitching like crazy. Yeah, that fixed it. Chrome just needs restarted on a pretty regular basis. I'm not sure what the issue is or what they've done. Some kind of a memory leak or something probably. How long until I can play? I'm pre-ordering tonight. How long until you can play Phantom Blade Zero? I mean, Phantom Blade Zero is coming out end of October. What is it, October 29th, I believe? They had a launch date the week before Wolverine, which I thought was a very unique idea. They actually had their game date, release date first, and then Wolvie came behind. And it was weird. It was like, why would you do that? Why would you go like 1 week after Phantom Blade Zero? And then Phantom Blade Zero released or updated their release date, and it was like, end of October. And it was like, huh? Like, that seems kind of crazy. You're getting awfully close to GTA. But then I remembered, Chinese-based company. Most of their audience is going to be in China and on PC, which isn't really a problem for, the game with respect to GTA 6. Yeah, it's just Phantom Blade Zero. Yeah, Siege Master with the VIP adds to the total and gets us to 68. Thank you, sir. Going to be a good Halloween this year and Thanksgiving with GTA. Yeah, lots to do, lots to play. If this game is more action-oriented than the Souls that I'm in, 100% more action-oriented than Souls, yes. That is something they have stressed in the interviews. So we shall see. There's the let's get the thing going here. There we go. There's your little, there's your screenshot. I can't talk, sorry. I was trying to get my members thing back up and running. Mortal Shell 2 has got the perfect parry thing that you love. I know, everybody wanted me to play it today. I gave you guys a little random gauntlet. I said, well, if you guys get it to 150, no, it was just going to be a 100. I was like, if you guys get to 100, I'll play Mortal Shell. No, I don't know. I don't think people wanted me to. I think they just wanted the talk show to continue. Silent Spartan says, I just 100%ed Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. China's been putting out some absolute bangers, and I think Phantom Blade Zero is going to be another. There were things that I really liked about Wu Chang Fallen Feathers and things that I didn't like. I think I'm going to like Phantom Blade Zero a whole lot more. Yeah. If these companies out of China keep using martial artists like Donnie Yen to help choreograph the martial art aspects of the games, it could be a game changer for the genre. Yeah, Gamescom is next week. Yep. Yeah, we'll have opening night live. What time of day is that? Gamescom opening night live 2026 start time. Okay, 2 o'clock. Perfect. I was going to say, I think most of the things they do we're able to cover in the afternoon. We can just do another. We like to do the waiting rooms. We just kind of hang out, wait for the thing to start. Nate the 8 saying Xbox will show a new game. Yeah, that came up in our. I think that came up in our Discord during Green Room. I just don't care. That's all they're doing right now is saying things. All I care about are the games. As a brand, that's all they do now is announce things. Like, yeah, they announced a ton of things at the showcase, and it was literally for studios that they were getting rid of. So I really don't care what they announce. I have zero trust in the brand or anything that Osher or anybody over there says, because I just don't think that they're trustworthy. Is this game 60 FPS on the base PS5? I can't imagine it won't be. A game like this will not. You will not want to play a game like this without 60 FPS. So, guys, do me a favor and try and get us to those first 100 likes. It's super helpful to me. And as you're coming in and settling in, we're going to be watching the Phantom Blade Zero State of Play together. Got a little countdown for you here. It'll be in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Glad about the China project. Really cool games. Now, to be clear, Phantom Blade Zero is not a China Hero project game. It isn't. I think it's a part of PlayStation's efforts to grow in China, but it's not a China Hero project game. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I think the defining difference is probably publishing, and PlayStation is not publishing Phantom Blade Zero. Not really sure why they wouldn't have negotiated some type of a deal to say, hey, we'd love to include you. But since they only secured 1 year of exclusivity, they probably wouldn't want a China Hero project game landing on Xbox at some point in the future, if that makes sense. What's good, Mama Noor? Probably 5 years away. Yeah, I just don't care about announcements for games that are a lifetime away. It's like we have no idea what's going to happen over the next 5 years with development. I prefer. It's fine to do like an announcement trailer, like a cinematic trailer, and then you go quiet and go away for a really long time. But I just don't really care about their announcement trailers anymore, because I feel like they utilize announcement trailers and announcements to, hide bad PR. It's not because it's a sensible thing to do. It's what they did with, Bethesda like a week ago. I thought Phantom Blade Zero wasn't a part of it. Just glad we're getting cool stuff. Yeah. It's not a big deal. I think I made that mistake in the past. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Guys, Feed is on YouTube, still without a badge. I don't know how this is possible. Part of me wonders, Feed, can you tell us, do you have gifteds turned on, right? Or are you playing some kind of a game? There's no way he's always dodging over here. Are you playing games with us, Feed? I love so many of the Xbox IPs, but I agree, no faith. Until I'm playing the game, I just don't care. I just don't care. Because, I played the Gears beta. I'm looking forward to it. It's quality. I think it's fun. But outside of that, I just don't care. I don't trust the brand anymore. What's good, Brooklyn Breed? How are you? Feels like they're not a developer or publisher anymore. Just a marketing company. That's pretty accurate. Yeah, they're doing an India Hero project, a Mina Hero project. Yo, thank you so much. Bone Dead Fossil gifts a sub on Purple and gets us to 69. Nice. Thank you very much. Okay, Feed says no. So, Feed, you can get members now, okay? You should be able to get members. All right. It's 21 my time. What is happening? So the company that's making Phantom Blade Zero is a Chinese company. This is going to be taking place at 10 a.m. Beijing time. So it's their morning. So our end of day. So I'm Eastern time zone. So when it's 10 p.m. for me, it's 10 a.m. for them. So my day is coming to an end and their day is starting. So good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's not my morning, but if it's your morning, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. I got the countdown right next to me. Castlevania Belmont's Curse is coming in October. I think that game will be okay. It's the middle of October. There's obviously the concern and the worry about marketing. GTA's marketing could really overshadow anybody trying to do anything in October. S3 Plan says, will Phantom Blade Zero be innovative, JK? I'm just having fun. Yeah, good to see you. Will it innovate enough? That's right, S3 Plan. Will they innovate enough is the question. I actually think within games like this, that's an interesting discussion because I don't know if it's about innovation as much as it is having an identity. So, like, did Tsushima do a crazy amount of innovation? And did they do a crazy amount of innovation in Yotei? I mean, I would say they innovated from Tsushima to Yotei with the weapon system itself. But would we argue that the system was super innovative? Or was it just them owning their identity? And a single gifted comes in from Stone Spire, he rounds us up to 70. We're 30 away from the first 100 of the week. Thank you, sir. So I think sometimes it's not, and maybe we use the word innovation too much or too liberally or who knows what. But maybe to me, again, it's about having an identity. And I'll give you an example. So if you play the first Ori in the Blind Forest, and then you play the first Hollow Knight, and then you play the second Ori game, you will notice a ton of things from the first Hollow Knight end up in Ori. Okay, good artist steal. But the difference would be that Ori owns its identity. So the ideas are sort of contextualized within the identity of Ori and the world of Ori. And so to me, I think that's key. Yeah, the wind mechanic is pretty cool in Tsushima. But I think that's what's key. Like, I don't know if we should be fixating so much on the innovation as much as identity. If the game's got a really cool and distinct identity, that I think is what matters most. That's what really carries games. Like, Hi-Fi Rush wasn't revolutionary, but it had a great identity. It's recognizable. As soon as you see it, you know what it is. So smash the like button. Thank you, Roadkill, for reminding everybody to smash that like button. Get us our next 20 likes. We just need 20 more to get to the first 100. GTA is a juggernaut. If Castlevania does come out in October, then that's what I'll be playing. I'm not a fan of GTA. Well, GTA is late November, so the only major concern with October isn't necessarily the release of GTA. It's the fact that there'll be tons of marketing. We live in an economy for your attention. Whether it's, you know, the swiping algo on a platform to keep you swiping, the recommended algo on YouTube to keep you watching, you know, automatically starting episodes on Netflix so you keep binging. The platforms, digital spaces are being designed to keep you captive, okay? So if that's the case, you're always fighting that war for attention. Well, you don't really want to be stepping out and launching your brand new game when the biggest game of the year is constantly dropping trailers, screenshots, whatever. So, I think you discussing identity wins the debate for me. What an excellent point. The one word destroys the innovation argument. I think you truly kicked it out of my head. I think they're both important, but I think sometimes, here's a great example. Somebody left this comment remarking about our debate today as 3 Plan, and the guy said, well, Hellblade 2 innovated, and it made the game worse. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a good point. They so fixated on making sure they used motion capture for every swing of the blade. It hurt the combat. It didn't feel as good. Thank you. Wait, didn't you just get a gifted? Oh no, wait. Did you renew or get a gifted? I don't know. Thank you for renewing for 18 months. McClarridge is your name? Let me add you to the total. And I would argue it went against the identity. Like, it went against the feel and the vibe of the first game. And so I wonder if, like, that's really what people should be striving for. Not Venox, hello, how are you? Gotta have faith. Mama Nora's on both platforms, thank you. Always appreciate that. I hope they show off the digital deluxe outfits in State of Play. I'm sure they'll do it at least at the very end, you know. I'm hoping for a Shadow Drop demo, which we would then check out tomorrow. You got the Platinum for Yote? I don't really go for Platinums. I have one. I got one in Returnal. I feel like innovation can be a stone's throw from scope creep and loss of identity. Yes. Yes. You don't want games just doing the same thing all the time, for sure. I think the sports games commonly get criticized for that, where it's like it's a new roster, you know, and it's just kind of the same game again. So I definitely think there are elements where that is probably a fair thing to criticize or get upset about. Like, well, they didn't really do anything. It's just they changed a number, you know. It's not this. It's not Madden 25. It's Madden 26, right? I think there are times where that's probably a very, very fair thing to bring up. I think it's commonly employed in some of the things we've been talking about, where I feel like I don't even know what you mean, right? I don't know what you're looking for, and that's what we debated earlier today. That was a good debate. That's a great reason you guys should be there for the daily show. It's great back and forth, great conversations. I feel like any game should. If any game should be live service, it should be the sports games. I mean, they kind of are, right? I agree 100% with the identity. They kind of are live service. Don't they do like events and ongoing content and ongoing monetization? I feel like they do that, do they not? I wonder when a new Red Dead game will be done. Never is my guess. GTA 6 is going to be I think they're going to be a GTA 6 company for the next 10 years, brother. I don't know. It would be cool if they could spin off a team to work on another Red Dead, because I think the Red Dead games are, you know, they're iconic, they're memorable, and it'd be nice to have a third one, you know, 4 or 5 years from now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think GTA 6 is going to swallow the company whole. It's all that they're going to be. They're just going to be consumed by it. It'll be making too much money. It'll be so demanding. There'll be so much to always be doing. So, Discord. Oh, am I not unmuted? Sorry, Discord. Discord, you know. Discord, you know how it is. You know what it is, Discord. I'm always forgetting to unmute. F1 did a rules change this year so that they couldn't build a new game in time. They only did DLC this year for last year's game, and they called it 26. They have to redo everything because the cars changed so much. Really? A Red Dead movie on Netflix? That could be good. That could be good. The innovation in gaming is so technical now, it's becoming hard to be noticed on a short video. Hence the reason games that are highly gameplay physics dependent are selling more. Can you explain what you mean? I'm not tracking. So a game that has high gameplay physics dependent? Glenn says, I subscribe on Twitch, but I use YouTube. Well, thank you. I appreciate the support either way. Sorry, not trying to sneeze on the microphone. We are going through a weather swing here in a good way. It's cooling down. It was roasting hot all last week. I still love you, Dutch. Gave you all I had. That's right. Just have one game and then have a pass every year or whatever. Well, of course they're not going to do that. They want to make they'll make way more money doing it the way they do it. Right? Like, I think sometimes that gets lost in the fray of the discussions, is that if a company could do annual DLC for their sports game and it would make more money than an annual release, well, then they would do the annual DLC instead. They're going to maximize how much money they can make, which I know people think that that's evil, but it keeps them open. It keeps, it keeps the people in charge happy. It keeps the people employed. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as people tend to make it. In defense of Red Dead Redemption, RD2 had almost sold 100 million copies, so there will most likely be a 3. There will be a 3. I mean, obviously, I was kidding around. I'm not saying there won't be a 3. I just think that GTA 6 is going to completely alter timelines within the company because there'll just be so much that needs to be done. Phantom Blade Zero exciting me so much that all my sadness is gone. I love being alive right now. Well, listen, you know, chase that feeling, brother, but, you know, you can't be, try not to be dependent on purely external material things for your joy. If there's no bourbon, why are we here late on a Monday? I'm not having any bourbon. No. We only really do that when we're celebrating, which usually means you guys hit some kind of insane record or something where it's like, oh wow, we're, 185 members ahead of pace or something. Like, then I'll okay, let's crack open the good stuff. I don't want to bring up gossip and drama, but have you seen the junk going on with Cross? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Jamal says, IPA it is. That's right. I was playing Fortnite with a buddy of mine, and my brother looked over at my TV where I had left the PS5 on the PlayStation Store, and it was hovering on Phantom Blade Zero, and he was like, oh, that looks cold. What is that? So I let him watch the trailer. It's a good-looking game. It's got a vibe. They could always sell the DLC at the price of a full game, like they would also be working on one game instead of spinning up a new game every cut down on development cost. Do you think the market would be receptive to a DLC that's the price of a full game, though? Because I don't think that they would. I like your stream. Thank you. Ready to see Sekiro on cocaine, state of play. Yeah, there you go. We're celebrating a late night stream with Lono. I already told you guys the drill, all right? To get to 750 so that we can do the thing with Madam, you need to end every day at 150. We could have a daily incentive and say, if you get to the 150, Lono's going to do this extra thing. You know what I mean? It would eat into Green Room, which the Green Room boys might not like, but I was kind of thinking about that. We could have a daily thing of like, oh, you want to do something extra? You want to do it? I don't know. Maybe we should. Cross was doing a video and he read a Twitter thread from Chris Barrett. Now people are saying he's a grifter. Some are asking his friends to disavow him. Well, anybody who disavows him over that wasn't a friend worth keeping. So that community is very familiar with just eating their own. They've got a taste for man flesh. They really, really like to eat and cannibalize anybody who's more successful than them, which, given the state of that directory, is pretty much everybody but Cross could hate Cross. It's like he's the only one that's going to survive the death of that game. D-Tom with a Prime. Thanks for using your Prime on me. Appreciate your stream. That's the vid in question. Well, that's just him reacting to that guy's video about the collapse of Marathon, right? It's a factual video. I've already watched it. It's a good video. Appreciate your stream. PlayStation at the moment to start. I tried to reason over there. I don't know why you'd bother trying to talk in that chat. Aren't people complaining it's the same game every year anyways, and they're still buying the new one? Something you'll realize about consumers is a lot of them, their mouth's a lot louder than their wallet. So like, or I should say it another way. The collective mouths on Twitter are a whole lot louder than the collective wallets of the actual consumer base. Yeah, D-Tom, I got your Prime on Twitch. I added it. Did you launch another channel, Reforge Gaming 2? We've had Reforge Gaming 2 for a while, and we used to send content over there. We used to do reactions over there and like extra. We're just going to start sending extra content over there because we don't want to put too much on the main channel. So, yeah. I tell you what would be Chris sort of said he was never for cutting content from Destiny 2 and wanted Destiny 3. I really hope a demo drops tonight. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, if the Destiny community throws Cross out, there's a warm seat over here on my channel for a great conversation about that game and Bungie and everything that transpired. I'll keep a seat warm for you, Cross. I know it'll probably never happen, but open invitation. The company see data on their sequels, not Twitter. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the companies are going to pursue maximum profit. And what's funny is all the people that get really angry about these sorts of things, if they were in charge of these companies, they would do the exact same thing. They would pursue maximum profit. So, rolled credits on both Last of Us Remastered, amazing. Started Halo campaign Evolved, and after that, Ghost of Yotei. Just great lineup of games, dude. Just keep going. So, hindsight and all that. A demo would be sick. They said they had a surprise for us. I don't know if the surprise was Donnie Yen, which is a great surprise. Donnie Yen's a great surprise. But a demo would also be a great surprise. A demo would also be a great surprise. So we'll see. Got to just hit my feed. We were taking some of the videos, Alex, and putting them on our second biggest channel, but that channel's just never going to turn. It was the Destiny channel, and it's basically just dead. Thank you, Aiden, for a Prime renewal on Twitch. Hope Phantom Blade looks as good as we think it's going to be. I appreciate that. I need 2 people to get a membership. I want it to be 75. I guess in essence, it's hard to show gameplay innovation without overexposing or overexplaining now. During PS4, it was easy to show 500 zombies in Days Gone or one-shot camera in God of War. Oh. Yeah. That's true. Here's the thing I'll say. I actually think that we are likely to see innovation be the mark of the end of this gen. And what I mean is the games, and C Money drops a 5 bomb on Twitch, thank you, and gets us a 78. Hey man, you guys go on a little member train. Might have a reason to celebrate. Thank you, C Money. He's putting his money where his money is. His name is C Money. That's a terrible joke. Anyways, I actually think typically what would happen is like your late gen games would be like, oh my gosh, look at the graphics. Oh, da, 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 da. I don't think we're going to be saying that late gen. I think when we kind of turn this corner, when we start to see games like Intergalactic Drop, I think Phantom Blade Zero is pushing things pretty hard. There'll be stuff, maybe in Lao Fei. I think that's when you'll start to see some of the innovative effort, because they're going to say, listen, we got the games to look amazing, like graphically. Now it's time to do stuff that we didn't think we could really do in the past. Yes, it's a Phantom Blade State of Play, and I got the timer next to me. It'll go live in 2 hours and 18 minutes, and you can watch it right here with me on my channel. Thank you for being here. So I do think one of the hallmarks of the late gen games this gen will be innovation. And there's good thoughts and good philosophy coming from some of the studios. There was a really great interview with one of the directors at Housemarque, the team behind Returnal and Sorrows, which, funny enough, all this crying about innovation, did these people play either of those games? Because I actually think Returnal and Sorrows are incredibly innovative, creative, and unique games. There's not a bunch of Returnals and Sorrows sitting on the dadgum shelf for you to buy right now, okay? Anyways, one of the directors from Housemarque was doing an interview, and there was a question about, future hardware. What would he do with more power? And instead of being like, oh, we'd push the graphics and lighting and he didn't throw out any graphical buzzwords. He talked about how he would build a more, physically reactive world. He started thinking of, what they could do with the physics system. And I think that's where you're going to start to see companies maybe lean in a bit more and say, well, we never really could do this in the past. The graphics are kind of an assumed thing now. Games just look good. I don't know how many games we've played this year or even last year and games going forward that you're not going to be able to say, yeah, they all look great. Graphically strong, good lighting, good performance, what have you. So my hope is that they would start to say, oh, I tell you what we need to do. We need to innovate more, on the physics system or the combat system or things of that nature. So that could be a hallmark of the gen as it sort of comes, to its twilight years. And those years are going to be a little extended because the PS6 is probably getting pushed back. Said it before, I'll say it again. You need to see IP Man when you get a chance. One of Donnie's Yen's best films. Okay, I trust you. I do. Thanks again. Another great video. You're welcome, Mike. I'm not sure what are you talking about the live stream that you're in right now, or did you watch one of my vids before coming here? The state of play is not till 10. That's right. I need your energy, chat. We got to keep this thing going. It's been a long day. I already did a stream. I already did a green room, and we got a couple hours here still to go. So hit the like button and let's get that chat going. And a super chat from sanyu.com says, also, thank you for being one of the few reasonable ones during the time of toxic clickbait merchants. Hype for amazing games, hype for genuine gamers. Well, man, I really appreciate you saying that. We have really tried to... There's just some topics and discussions and things we're even just trying to kind of push away from because we're just like, you know what? Let's just talk about the games. Let's play them. Let's have a good time. Some people are just trying to get through their workday and they're listening. So... Oh, it's loosely based on that. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Yo, it's good, Lushy. Not only did Sony get rid of physical, but their patent leak for a new controller where there's no physical buttons. Eventually, they will patent that that you own nothing and they own you. It's only a matter of time. Just accept that even your body will be theirs. So, I felt the cross games this time around are going to be better than the transition from PS4 to 5. Oh, the cross-gen games. Yeah, probably. Well, you also have to remember, the cross-gen period's going to last a long time because the adoption rate for the PlayStation 6 is probably going to be the lowest it's ever been. It'll probably be lower than adoption rates were for the PS4 or the PS5. Yeah. I can't wait to play it already. The demo is online. Oh, so there is going to be a demo? Has that been leaked by another website? Oh, not 100% sure? Okay. I bet you they do. I bet you they drop a demo. These guys love to build vertical slices. They do. They love to build vertical slices. I bet you they drop a demo. Yeah, if you guys got a gifted member, be sure to say thank you to the people that gifted the member. And if you're watching on YouTube, try to get us to 200 likes. The like count really does help. The chip implants going into your tongue and neck. Yeah, those are coming. You'll get those with your cult. You'll get some tracksuits, for being in the cult. You guys have been asking for tracksuits for a long time. They will come with the chip implants. So, yeah. I'll be here, says Liquid Smoke, playing XCOM right now, getting warmed up for Zero Company. That's right. That's right. Zero Company drops the same day as another game, doesn't it? Which game is it? Is it the same day as Resonance Plague Tale game? Is that it? I can't remember now. This week is Mortal Shell 2 and Sinking City 2. Let's see here. Okay. Aliens Fireteam Elite 2, Once Human comes to console on the 25th. Yeah, Resonance, Plague Tale Legacy, and Star Wars Zero Company are both on August the 27th. So, can't watch State of Play. I'll be watching WWE Raw. Hey, man, whatever floats your boat. Did the suit say Xbox better? I don't know what they say. Yeah, the Plague Tale game. I was wanting to play that Star Wars Zero Company. I was going to give it a shot. Those previews sounded pretty awesome. But then it's landing on the same date as Resonance. And I'm like, man, I love the Plague Tale universe. I'm not going to have time for all that. What's the deal with Wolverine game hate? I don't undesirable. I think you meant to say I don't understand. There's nothing to understand. There isn't. We're hitting I think we're hitting the singularity of monetization on Twitter. We're hitting a singularity where the best way for people to make money on that platform is to hate on something popular. And that's pretty much it. So, we had a big discussion about that this morning. If you go back and watch today's live show, I don't want to retread the entire topic. I basically just broke down why everybody should really unplug from the Twitter platform. If you're going there for like reactions to games, the only tweets that get the most traction are negative. I basically curate my entire feed on that platform. Just news. I just want to see what's going on. So news outlets, people that I respect. So you can see our back and forth on that from this morning if you want to go watch it. That's just my advice to people. If you interact with gamers, if you check the actual sales reports and how games do, and you see how most people are talking about games, it's so much of it's so fake and contrived and manufactured. Skill Up made a great impression of Zero Company. He sold me and I don't even like those games. That's what I'm saying. Oh, there are screenshots showing up already of the Phantom Blade Zero demo, so we're probably in store for one. Wolverine looks exactly what it's supposed to be, a fun action game with cool Marvel storyline. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I agree. The hate is 100% forced. It's going to sell well. It's going to play well. Insomniac's got good pedigree. They've got a great history. I think people are really forcing that narrative. YouTube's the only platform I engage with. Is still pretty bad over here too. Well, here's the thing. I am attempting to not be glib, and I'm attempting to not be some everything's positive fanboy. I'll still be critical of things that I don't think are good. I'll be critical of games or developments that I don't think are good within the industry itself. However, if you do start to feel like, man, I literally can't find channels that aren't just jumping on the negative train, grabbing everything and just negative. I understand why they're doing it. It's a really, really, consistent way to get interaction. But I feel like a lot of it is because it's for money. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and list creators and list videos to you. But I know how this works. Okay? I know how this business works. And I know what a lot of those creators are doing. They see the results. They see how the videos perform. And they're leaning in. Why? Paying the bills. And if you, as the consumer, are tired of it, then go where you're not getting that. That would be my recommendation. So... I think playing as Gene would have been fun if they kept it in the game. I agree. I don't think they should have pulled out the playable Gene missions. Scott Dove says, no, I think you're an honest character, Lono. I actually disagree and am more negative than you sometimes, so you're more of fresh air for me. Well, I'm not attempting to be glib or fake about it. It's just a focus thing. It's like I don't want to focus on all of the negativity. Now, I'll happily commentate a little bit and say, hey, I think people are kind of forcing the negativity about Wolverine, but I don't want to like go and pull up the tweets and pull up the bad takes. Does that make sense? Like I try to keep it at a distance. It's like we have to acknowledge these things are happening, but it doesn't need to get so much attention. I don't react. I don't respond to anything on Twitter anymore. It just isn't worth it. It's literally what they want. They want to make people mad to get more replies. That's what most of that platform has just become bait. And they'll all make a quick buck, and then they'll all learn that that's a terrible way to, grow a brand or a platform. Wolverine, Onimusha, Control, Minecraft Dungeons 2, Gears of War E-Day, Galactic Racer, Call of Duty, Phantom Blade, Ace Combat, and GTA 6 versus Barbie. It's a heck of a year. Yeah, when's the state of play start? Jack Garland's like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask. When's the state of play start, Lono? Jaster says timer. No, Jaster, he's being a troll. He's being a troll. I don't consider them creators, just parasites. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to shed a lot of that exaggerated language. Like, if people want to create that kind of content, it's hard to blame them when there's high demand for it. I get it. There are many, many content themes that I could have leaned into that would have potentially made me a lot of money, especially being, my upbringing and my own beliefs. Like, I could have easily leaned really heavy into, like, the anti-woke thing. But I couldn't do it with a clean conscience. It wouldn't have been true or genuine to me. Hyperpositivity is just as detrimental as hypernegativity. I think you strike a good balance, even if I disagree with your take sometimes. Right, like I want the positivity to be, reasoned and argued and not forced. Oh, we're just keeping it positive, guys. Just keep it positive. Like, I don't want to force it. If that makes sense. But at the same time, it's also like, yeah, we don't want that to get a whole lot of attraction and a lot of air in here. Just certain things. You can come in and say, I don't like such and such a game, and I think it looks lame. That's fine. I'm not going to, ban you for saying that. But I think the mistake a lot of people are making is they pour gas on the fire. They're like, well, I'm going to pull up the tweets. I'm going to respond to these tweets. I'm going to quote tweet this person. I saw people getting quote tweeted, and it was like they had 30 followers. It's like, why are you paying any attention to that person? They're clearly just grasping for attention. And you gave it to them, How can you hate it? Wolvie is shredding fools as hard as Sony is shredding physical gaming. Too soon? You're an idiot. You are an idiot. Guys, as you're coming in, do me a quick favor. It's really helpful to me if you hit that like button. Try to get us to 200 likes. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm not requiring subscriptions during live events because if you're just here to hang out for the evening and you're probably not going to come back, that's totally fine. Despite so much rude and vulgar comments online, isn't there often a real sentiment buried beneath the hate brigade? A real discussion to talk about it if we remove the crap posters and the viral clips. I mean, I don't know, because it's hard to know if it's like the old adage, every joke has a thread of truth to it, right? A nugget of truth. My friend always said 10% of every joke is you telling the truth. Something like that, right? Appreciate a good evening stream. What's good, Nick? I have a really hard time applying that axiom to something that I know is being done in bad faith. Does that make sense? If I know this person's doing this in bad faith, so I'll give you an example. There were guys attacking Gears of War, and they were being nasty about it. celebrating that, the beta didn't have lots of players or what have you. I don't think there's any legitimacy to what they were doing. There's not like a thread of truth. They're just being a jerk. I know that they're just console warring. Okay? It's being done in bad faith. I think the same thing's being done with Wolverine, right? So I get where you're coming from. I think overall, if you see people that are being kind of with respect to Wolverine, I could chalk it up to some superhero fatigue. There are people who probably feel, and they feel this in a genuine way, and they're not getting swept up in hate brigades or anything, but there are probably people who genuinely feel, and they're not being bad faith, they're not being a hater, that PlayStation games get formulaic. And they're right. And that's why they sell, and that's why people like them. Both things can be true. Yeah, they're formulaic. Yep. Yeah. I know I'm going to sneak, and then I'm going to slash it up, and then I'm going to sneak and slash it up, and I'm going to level up, and then I'm going to get some stuff, and then there's going to be some cutscenes, and then I'm going to go to a new locale, and I'm going to do more of that. I know all those things are going to be in the game. I know they're following, at some level, they're following a formula. Especially if you think about the fact that, game production's getting so expensive, one of the ways to curb that down is to, do things in a formulaic way. It's a very large project. A really, really great way to have good organized project management is to have good expectations, parameters, guardrails, guidelines, things like that. So I'm sure there are people that have seen the trailers that are like, been there, done that. It's kind of formulaic at this point. They're not wrong that it's formulaic, but I think people jump to the conclusion that means the game's going to suck or be a flop. And it's like, no, I've played plenty of formulaic games that I thought were excellent. Spider-Man 2 was formulaic. It followed a formula. It was a little predictable. And I still enjoyed it. DC, Soros and Returnal. No, I actually thought Soros and Returnal were very distinct from each other. Soros was not formulaic. It built upon good mechanics and systems of Returnal, but it didn't really follow a formula. Truth be told, the entire structure of Soros is worlds different than Returnal. They didn't follow. Now, if they would have followed the formula of Returnal, it would have been really noticeable. The crux of the story, the flow of the biomes. If we would have gone through 3 biomes and then the 4th biome was a checkpoint, right? That would have been following the formula. They didn't follow the formula of Returnal. Soros is very different in structure. And then you've got the things you can add with the modifiers you can add to make it easier or harder. The final biome, you don't even have to grind the other biomes to go to the Yellow Shore. You can just go to the Yellow Shore anytime that you want. To me, the formula Sony has is great gameplay and great story. They all still play so differently. Last of Us to Spider-Man to God of War. Okay, this touches down on something like Christopher Nolan talked about recently, but this is a little bit different. Just because you can detect the formula, okay? So when you played through Spider-Man 2, you could detect the formula of Spider-Man 1. You could tell that Insomniac very much was following the formula book of what made Spider-Man 1 a good game, beginning, middle, and end, open world activities, and what have you. That is not a problem. People presume that's a negative. I think a lot of video game criticism is state something factual about the game as if it's a negative. Does that make sense? From a viewer's perspective, it is samey, but once you play it, they feel different. Right. So let me give you another completely off-the-wall random example, but I think it'll serve our purposes. Anybody who played the latest Lego Batman game, most of them will tell you it was fantastic. It was so fun. Do you want to know what it was? Incredibly formulaic. I mean, like, by the books, by the numbers. It was open world Batman formula. That doesn't make it bad. It's like, because I could detect the formula, you know, the open world stuff and finding the Riddler's things and doing all the little missions and driving around. Yeah, it followed a formula. It was still a wonderfully fun game. And so I think people are starting to do that. They'll just state a fact about the game as if it is a negative. Like, well, it's formulaic. I mean, some of our favorite games are probably formulaic. That doesn't mean it's an indictment, and it doesn't mean it's a criticism. Now, if you go too far into formulaic, it starts to feel like, as we said with like the sports games, where nothing really changes except the number on the box. So if Spider-Man 1 to 2, nothing really changed except for the number on the box, you could say, oh yeah, they were too formulaic, or they didn't innovate, or whatever you want to say. You'd have a hard time saying that about Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is a significant upgrade from 1. Size of the game, traversal, 2 playable characters, all the different gadgets and movesets that you had to expand, especially once you got the Venom stuff. Or I should say the symbiote stuff. So that's where I think you've got to be careful. Like, you can, and this is where people get mad. They're like, oh, this guy's just shilling for this game. And it's like, you're just presuming all these negatives, and because I don't agree with them, I'm shilling. It's like, there's no room for, maybe he just is really looking forward to Wolverine. That'd be the easiest explanation. Even then, there is only so much you can change about the formula of a game based on a real-life game. Exactly. So, like, we know that Wolverine is a mutant, but we also know he doesn't have magic powers. He can't fly. He can't teleport, right? He doesn't have telekinesis. So there's going to be elements to his combat and movement and gameplay loops that will have to sort of stay, you know, somewhat penned in. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Wood Booger. Let me add you to the total. We're at 79. Somebody bump that sucker to 80. Come on, tempt one of the big boys. To be fair to sports games, it's kind of hard to innovate from year to year. Exactly. It's totally fair. I used to give this example to people when people would question, how do you play Destiny all the time? It's always the same basic things. And I was like, you're right. It is. If you think about Destiny, public events, lost sectors, strikes, dungeons, raids, they all follow the same structure. You go in, fight trash ads, majors, mini-boss, satisfy mechanic. Go to next room, trash ads, majors, mini-boss, and or boss, satisfy mechanic. And Wood Booger and DeLon Frank both had the same idea, and they got us to 81. And Ward Huff does a single as well. 82. Honor their efforts. Honor their efforts. Somebody drop a 20 bomb. We have a refrigerator going bad in the basement, and it scares me. Every time it clicks off now, it goes... It's like it's bad. It's an old fridge. It was here when we bought the place. And I am not looking forward to having to replace it. And when it clunks, it clunks. It's loud. So yes, whenever the example I was going to give with the Destiny thing is like how the strikes and the dungeons and the raids, like they were all the same pieces and the parts, right? There's a bit that Jim Gaffigan does about how Mexican food is all the same, right? It's a tortilla with meat, cheese, or vegetables, right? Whether it's a fajita, a burrito, a taco, a quesadilla, it's the same basic ingredients prepared in, a variety of ways. And I always said Destiny is Mexican food. And Cat with the 20 bomb does it, gets us to 102 on the week. I said we'd celebrate at 150, so it actually is now possible. Thank you, Kat. Now, the point that I'm going to make, and thank you again, Kat, that's very generous, with this whole Destiny's Mexican food, and people be like, well, how do you just keep playing it? Da-da-da-da-da. and I said, I want you to think about something. I want you to imagine that you and your buddies go bowling every Saturday night, and you've been doing it for years. Do you ever show up and think, man, I wish the pins were floating and the bowling ball was explosive? Now, that might be pretty fun, but you track with what I'm saying, right? And a gifted comes in from Stone Spire. Like, track with what I'm saying. You don't show up to bowling and hope that bowling is completely reinvented. It's just the thing that you do with your buds. It's become your third space. And another one from Stone Spire. Stone Spire's hoping for another 20-bomb dunker. He's going to walk this to 105. That's what he's doing. There it is. Thank you, Stone Spire. He is the king of the tee-up. Laser bowling, my man, laser bowling. You get the point that I'm making, though. If you get together with your buds and play poker, after years, you're not like, man, I really wish poker had all these other things going on. Now, you might change it up sometimes, and instead of playing poker, maybe you play euchre if there's only 4 of you or something. But you get what I mean. There are games where you're okay with the repetition because, like, it's just something that you enjoy, like bowling with your buddies every Saturday or poker night. For some people, a video game can kind of become like that. They don't need it to, like, reinvent itself. So, I made this point this morning with, like, Metroidvanias. Like, when I play a Metroidvania, I'm not, like, rolling my eyes because there's a double jump and a wall jump. Why? Those have kind of become part and parcel to Metroidvanias. Right? And when I look at action games and I see fast-paced movement, I see melee attacks, leaps, dodges, parries, blocks, what have you, I don't roll my eyes at that. I kind of come to expect it because of the genre that it's in. Right? Now, some games, like we talked about this morning, like Control Resonant, there's no parry in Control Resonant because they wanted that game to be about momentum and aggression. Right? The best defense is a good offense kind of a thing. So you don't always need all those pieces and parts. But I do think for some people, if that genre is home to them, maybe they love Souls games. Maybe they love Hades clones. Maybe like me, and they like the third person, more like action-oriented games. They don't need it to be reinvented every time, as long as it's just a really, really good game. Like, that's all that matters to them. This sort of comes back to when I talk about, the metamorphosis principle about, like, for the longest time, anytime we would play a new game, we would, we would think, oh yeah, they just changed everything. They just reinvented the entire technical, abilities and mechanics. And it's like, we're not doing that anymore. So it feels like the games aren't doing enough. The first time you played Gears of War, the first time you played The Last of Us, the first time you played, what you feel like were revolutionary games. Armani Coleman with a $5 super chat says, I'm sorry for getting off topic. I can't wait for Blood of Dawnwalker. No, we're not really on topic right now because we're just waiting for the event to start. So, what did that guy say that got pushed out of chat? That they're not doing this because of the hate? Oh. What did he say? Hang on. Before I even read it, how old's his account? Okay. He says, things are looking a bit iffy for PlayStation. It's 9 p.m. and there isn't even a link to the State of Play on their YouTube channel yet. PlayStation is probably doing this because of the hate. What do you mean? It's right here on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. I'm not sure what you're referring to. It's literally a live stream. It's right there, scheduled. They also have one scheduled for tomorrow as well, and 2K27. I don't think they care about the people that are angry on Twitter. They're not scheduling state of plays and stuff around that. This is scheduled for this time because it's 10 p.m. for me. I'm Eastern time zone. Is 10 a.m. Beijing time, which is where the studio is based out of. It's been up for at least a week now. Yeah, they literally announced this like last week or before that. So I don't know. Rockstar is mostly praise, still has not accomplished the level of detail and gameplay Naughty Dog has. Naughty Dog is leading the industry, in my opinion. Let's see what GTA 6 does. I mean, I get having confidence in Naughty Dog. I don't know if I would pit them against Rockstar and act like there's a clear winner. I think they both have unique and really, really good ways of creating. I don't necessarily think one's better than the other. You know, Naughty Dog's going to remind everybody how good they are with Intergalactic. I trust in their pedigree and their institutional knowledge and their ability to create a really good game. I do, but I don't necessarily know if I would be like, oh yeah, like Naughty Dog's the leader and like Rockstar not so much. I'd be like, no man, Rockstar has done amazing things historically speaking. It's just been a while since they've dropped anything. You know, however long it's been since Red Dead. So I think their approaches are very different. Like, I can't imagine if they would have been building Red Dead for this gen, what it would have been. I think one of the issues is, you know, they're always building for such a long time. And another 5 bomb from C Money. Thank you so much, C Money on Twitch. Just bringing the support. We're working on getting back to 1,000 members on Twitch, and we're sitting at 750. Thank you, sir. I doubt Rockstar would tell the story as well as Naughty Dog, just like Naughty Dog can't build the wild worlds that Rockstar does. Yeah, I feel like their expertise fields are a little bit different, so comparing who's better, I don't necessarily know if you can achieve that without just basically giving away your own bias of like which games you like more. My gripe with PlayStation is indie games come later. Been playing indies a lot on PC. When you say that's your gripe with PlayStation, do you mean just like you think that's a criticism of owning a console like the PlayStation, or do you think it's PlayStation's fault in some way? Because I don't think it's PlayStation's fault. I think that's an emergent property of indie development. It's easier for them to develop for Steam. It's less expensive. And it's easier to go viral. It's easier to go viral on Steam than on PlayStation. There's kind of a culture around supporting smaller games and things on Steam. I feel Naughty Dog makes better linear games. Yeah, I'll be real with you. I wouldn't want Naughty Dog to do an open world game. It's not really, they've never demonstrated that that's like their skill set. Now, they did create a really, really good open zone in The Last of Us Part 2. The one section with like the shops and like the highway. That's a really, really good open zone. But I don't know if I would want them to like venture out into open world. Now, some of that's my own bias. I have open world fatigue. I'm thrilled when games come out and are like, no, we're not open world. That used to be like a bummer. Probably not a gripe is the word, but it's just the system of things, and both can coexist. I think if you're weighing pros and cons of PC versus PlayStation, that is definitely one of the pros of PC, is you get way more indie games. And PlayStation tends to get them later. Now, that pro for PC can come with a bit of a caveat that a lot of the games you get are in early access. And then being in early access, they can be a little crummy. Right? So, Isn't their next game open world? Have they said that Intergalactic is open world? I'll be interested to see how they manage to pull that off. The one open zone in The Last of Us Part 2 is quite good, but open world is a little bit of a different animal. I put Rockstar over Naughty Dog because they can make huge single-player games while running a massive live service. Well, it's an unfair comparison when you're doing that, because that would be a bandwidth comparison, and Rockstar is probably 10 times the size of Naughty Dog. You know, thousands upon thousands of employees globally. So that's a bandwidth. They're able to do what you just said primarily because they're a larger company. I mean, I guess you could say that gives them more on the scales. I mean, I guess you could say that. Had they showed us anything about Intergalactic other than a teaser? Honestly asking. No, that's all they've shown. Yeah. Heck of a teaser, though. It's pretty long. Pause. I was really happy to see Gears of War E-Day innovate on Horde, since they're like the grandfather of Horde. I was enjoying it. I really, really was. The only bummer about Horde is it'll probably be a little bit too hard for Madam to enjoy it. We'll see. I'll play it with her and we'll see how it lands. Because I was surprised how much she enjoyed Space Marine 2 co-op. We really enjoyed that. Guys, we've got some time to kill. We've got about an hour and a half until the state of play. Could you give me 150 more likes? That'd be incredible. That'd be so helpful. I don't think they've said that Intergalactic is open world. With the way that Naughty Dog tells stories, if I was a betting man, I would bet that they're not doing an open world game. It's not really conducive to the way that they the way that they tell stories. I'd be very interested in how they approach it. Dad of Daz with the Prime sub. Thank you very much. Welcome back in, man. 47 months is a long time. They have not said that. No, you're saying you were just effing around. I didn't think you said anything about it being open world. Oh, I hope Intergalactic is an open world live service RPG MMO. I didn't even see you say that. Somebody in chat asked. Somebody in chat said, "Oh, I thought they said Intergalactic was an open world game." Somebody actually guessed that, and I was like, I don't think they've said that. So, if you guys are enjoying the stream, thank you for being here. This is a little unusual for me to stream this late in the day, but I wanted to make sure and cover this with you guys. The PlayStation State of Play, the Phantom Blade Zero State of Play. What Naughty Dog said was it had storytelling similar to FromSoft games. They said that? I don't remember that either. I remember them saying that their goals were very ambitious with the combat system. It was going to be the most ambitious combat system that they built. I read it was a permadeath extraction shooter. You guys are being trolls. That sounds genuinely awful. You doing a late start tomorrow? It depends on how wild we get tonight. You know what I'm saying? If everyone behaves themselves and doesn't peer pressure me, I should get a normal good night's sleep, and then I'll be up in time for tomorrow morning. Lots of giggling, half-mad NPCs. That's innovation. They said that they took a lot of inspiration from FromSoft non-linear environmental storytelling. I mean, I really wished that Hell Is Us would have had better combat. I really liked the opening of that game. Was such a vibe. Picking up on clues and figuring out where to go, but the combat just didn't feel good at all. I did not like it. I couldn't get into a vibe. You know what I mean? 5 gifted subs per full glass here tonight, mister. We won't be streaming tomorrow. I am not agreeing to that. I am not agreeing. You know, I said if we got to 150, that I would consider celebrating with you all. That's what I said. I didn't say anything about a full glass for every 5 gifteds. I don't feel like going to the hospital. Like, dear Lord. White girl wasted. That's not white girl wasted. That's alcohol poisoning. Like, what happened to Lono? He died. It was it was a heck of a send-off. He didn't even get to watch the state of play. People just kept gifting 5 bombs. He really didn't do the math calculation appropriately. Oh, man. He meant to say fit every 50 bomb. And, yep. Well, you live and you learn. Yeah, he died. As someone who completed Hell Is Us, I agree, and I wish the enemies had more variety. Yeah. It was just the telegraphs and the parries. It just felt messy. I didn't like it. At that point, you'll be so flammable, we could give you a Viking funeral. Yeah, my blood would be flammable. Wait, white girl wasted and alcohol poisoning aren't the same thing? I actually don't know the etymology and the origin of like what white girl wasted is. You know what I mean? Like, I've been married for next year. I'll be married 20 years. Okay, so I'm not exactly in those settings. You know, I am not in those settings, dude. I've been going to wine tastings with people that are they're old enough to be my grandparents, and it's amazing. It is so fun. I love it. My circle of friends right now, it's the best. Like, there's nothing better than hanging out with either. My closest friends are all same age as me, or like very, very close to same age as me. But I've made some friends with some older guys, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Give me 1 second. Maybe the frustration is we don't get a lot of innovative games this generation. We got Astrobot's Playroom with the controller, Returnal with its design, Expedition 33 with its enhanced action turn-based combat. But I don't know. So what? Okay, so frustration comes from unmet expectations, right? It's like the gap between what you were hoping for and what you got. And the greater that gap, the greater the frustration. So if you're like, I ordered a pepperoni and mushroom pizza, and you get a pepperoni pizza, you're frustrated, but you're not put out. You're not losing your dadgum mind, right? You're like, oh, that's kind of a frustrating thing. If you order a pepperoni and mushroom pizza and they deliver a bucket of chicken, you're going to be like, this is not even close. There's the difference between what you were expecting and what you got leads to the frustration. So that's where I'm like, what is it that's frustrating people? Like, what's this expectation that's not being realized? That's why I really pushed on that this morning. I was like, it's an unspoken ideal. I don't know what it is that you feel like you were supposed to get and you didn't get. What is it? And then it's almost never verbalized. It's like never verbalized. It's always very Now that they have patched a lot of the issues, will you give Beast of Reincarnation another go off stream? I need to finish Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which is a little difficult. I was going to put in a really long play session tonight because Madam had stuff to get ready for school for the kiddos tomorrow. And I'm doing this instead. So I do need to finish that, and then I would like to go back to Beast of Reincarnation. I did like the vibe and the feel. It just was the performances. I don't know how much they fixed performance. Has anybody done like an update on it? People must miss how unhinged people are. Well, I'm sort of just speaking for myself, I guess. Like, I wouldn't lose my dadgum mind if the pizza showed up and was like, oh, I ordered pepperoni and mushroom and I just got pepperoni. I'd be irritated. I would vocalize that to the place. I'm like, hey, you messed my order up. I'd like some kind of a credit, right? But again, it's the distance between what you were expecting and what you got. The greater the distance, the greater the frustration. If you were expecting to be, at your friend's gathering at 6 o'clock and you get there at 6:15, you're a little irritated. You don't like being late, okay? If you get to the gathering at 8:30, you've missed 2.5 hours of the party. You're going to be ticked, especially if it's a party that's going from, 6 o'clock to 9. There's only 30 minutes left, right? You're going to be furious, especially if you're like sitting in traffic or something. Well, those are, measurable. They're quantifiable. You can explain why you're more frustrated than the guy that was 5 minutes late. Some guy's like, yeah, dude, I'm just as mad as you. Yeah, I got here 5 minutes late. You'd be like, that you're an idiot. We're not even remotely the same. Like, I got here 2.5 hours late because of traffic or bad directions or what have you. And so when people are doing sort of these like summary statements of the gen, a guy did it the other day to me on Twitch. He rated me and then he said, this gen's really sucked. And I'm like, but what are you talking about? What were you hoping to get that you didn't get? What were you hoping to get that you didn't get? Like what's the distance between what you were expecting and what you got? Describe it to me. They almost never can. That's why it feels forced. That's why it feels like this manufactured anger. I'm like, okay. I can't keep up with the games. I can't. More new IP? Yeah, but I don't get that expectation either. Like, that's never been the expectation. We talked about that, was it yesterday? Or it might have been with Madam, on the stream with Madam. I was like, why are people so upset about sequels? We've always gotten sequels from successful franchises. Nobody got mad that there was always a new Mario Kart. Nobody got mad that there were a bunch of new Halos. Nobody got mad that, Devil May Cry or Final Fantasy or Call of Duty continued making new games. That's never been a complaint. It's only a complaint this gen, and I think it's manufactured and fake. I don't think it's genuine. I've enjoyed this gen, but I have to admit there's been way too many sequels and remakes. But that's completely arbitrary. Why are sequels a problem? So none of those games were supposed to go and do another one? New IP is not an expectation from you? I didn't say it wasn't an expectation. I said it wasn't what I expected every studio to do. My expectation is always, if a game is successful, they're going to do another one. You know what I mean? Like, Returnal was so good, I was thrilled that they made Sorrows. If I was one of the navel-gazing stick-in-the-muds this gen, I'd have been like, Housemarque's basically making a sequel to Returnal. Duh. All we get are sequels. No, I was like, they made an incredible game. I'm glad they're making another one. When I saw the trailer for Spider-Man 2, I was like, can't believe it. When I saw the trailer for Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok, it didn't bother me at all. I was like, dude, sick. Those are great games. Those are great franchises. Because here's the thing. Let's imagine another reality. I think your other reality sucks. I think you're ascribing value to something that doesn't have inherent value. New IP doesn't equal automatically better. So let's imagine this other reality. So no sequel to Horizon, no sequel to God of War. They would have made brand new IPs. Do you want to know what would have happened? You'd have waited longer for titles from those studios because they wouldn't have been able to use the animation sets, institutional knowledge, world-building tools, all of that speeds up development. They wouldn't have been able to use any of that. We'd have waited longer. And who knows if those games, I mean, hopefully they'd have been good, but I don't know. I wanted sequels to all those games. I wanted a sequel to God of War 2018. I wanted a sequel to Horizon and Spider-Man. I think this other timeline that people imagine would have been so much better. I think it would have sucked. It'd have been like, why didn't you make another game? Like, if we wouldn't have gotten Ghost of Yotei or Saros, I'd have been like, this sucks. Why'd you guys do this? Saros sold pretty bad. That's not factual. That's presumed. And by what measurement did it sell bad? Weak bait. Extremely weak bait. The point is that this idea that, like, oh, new IPs would have been so much better. Why? Why do you assume that? I see a lot of Gears fans really excited that there's a new Gears game. Is anybody belly aching that the Coalition should have done a brand new IP? Compared to PS4, Horizon was a new IP, Days Gone new IP, Ghost of Tsushima new IP, Spider-Man new IP, Knack, yeah, new IP, God of War 2018, practically all new IP. Yeah, and I think the timeline where all the studios that made those great new IPs didn't make sequels, I think your imagined timeline sucks. Because all those games deserve sequels. You want to know what's funny? What was the most common complaint about Bend working on a live stream, a live service game? What was the most common complaint? Oh, they should have been making a sequel to Days Gone. Well, just add that to the wood chipper then. I mean, why make a sequel? Sequels are bad, apparently. You know what's crazy is all those studios crushed it with all those games, and you want them to turn their backs on their success? That would be stupid. Listen to what you're saying. You just cited all of the games that gave us sequels this gen, and so what you wanted them to do is what? Knock it out of the park and go, you know, we could make a sequel. It's more economical. There's clearly a setup for a sequel here. But let's make a new IP so people don't complain about the gen stinking. Let's risk, you know, let's take financial risk at a time where risk is terrible. Let's take financial risk. Let's just throw it all, you know, let's just throw caution to the wind and let's do a new IP. I really hate it when I get more of a game I love. That's what I don't get. You cannot argue that we got more new IP last gen than this gen. There's a reason why many think last gen was better. I'm not arguing the math. Why would I argue the math? I'm not arguing the math. Although, I'd be interested to actually add up the new IP we've gotten this year, but you would only count PlayStation first-party studios. Third party doesn't count. Second party doesn't count. So you've made arbitrary rules, right? I wonder how many of those new IPs were new IPs and first party so that your scorekeeping is actually accurate. Probably not. That would be an interesting experiment to run, wouldn't it be? Because you wouldn't count Stellar Blade. You wouldn't count Rise of the Ronin. Even though those were new IPs, they were second-party exclusives, I guess you wouldn't count those. Well, hopefully you're not counting any games that came out that were new IPs and the studios weren't owned at the time the game shipped, because that would be fair scorekeeping. But I bet you're not doing that. I bet the score's really close if you include second-party exclusives. Oh, but they're on PC now. Nope, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about new IPs. See Money with another 5 bomb to top off the night. 116. I doubt you're keeping consistent score because it's not about that. It's forced. You'll ignore Ronin and Stellar Blade. You'll ignore Returnal. You'll ignore the new IPs. I mean, Saros is a new IP too. You could almost count both the Housemarque's deliveries because while they're similar, they're separate IPs. We don't count any of those. It's like, you know, Gorilla and Sucker Punch and Santa Monica and Insomniac. They all should have just thrown their success in the garbage so that you could have a new IP. It's nonsensical. Now, if this gen we got our sixth Spider-Man and our 5th Horizon game, you could make the argument. You could make the argument. Yeah, Phantom Blade Zero is a new IP. Console exclusive, but probably doesn't count in the scorekeeping. Because the scorekeeping isn't about being consistent. It isn't. It's made up. It's manufactured. We've gotten a really good amount of new IP. Now, no, I'm not going to count like Pragmata. And they wouldn't count Astrobot. Even though Astrobot is a new game. Like, it's essentially, in essence, it's a new IP. Because Astro's Playroom was like a demo to show off the controller. And like previous Astro games were nothing like Astrobot. So like, again, it just feels incredibly forced. It's like, number one, you're presuming that it's a negative. You're presuming sequels are a negative. You're not even arguing it. You're not. Like, it's just a presumed negative. And I think if we flip the coin over and we say, you know what, you're right. None of those studios should have done sequels. I think that timeline sucks. Because then I think you have a bunch of studios that walk away from something that did so well and they did such a good job building it, and they don't capitalize on it. They don't improve any of it. Like what they did with Spider-Man 2 and the traversal and the city and the combat, it was dope. We got second-party new IP last Gen 2, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human new IP. What's your point? My point is that if you actually add up new IP that we got this gen and you include the second parties and the exclusives, I actually don't think your scorekeeping is as dire as you've made it. I don't think it's as dire as you've made it. I think you stack up all the sequels and then you stacked up all those new games last gen, but if you actually add up the number of sequels that happened last gen, The Last of Us Part 2 was a sequel. You're saying God of War 2018 was a new IP, which is kind of funny because no, it wasn't. It was a soft reboot. So you counted that in your total, and you shouldn't even really be able to do that. If we're going to count God of War 2018 as a new IP, then I guess you have to count Astro. Astrobot then is a new IP because it was essentially a completely new iteration of Astro. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's as dire as you're making it. I think we've gotten a lot of new IP this gen. If you count games like Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin, I would even argue that Helldivers 2, it was such a complete reimagining of Helldivers, it felt like a brand new IP. But because it already has a game out with that name, we're going to act like that wasn't a great game and a lot of fun for lots of people? Like, I don't know. I like, the minute I always push on this, I always feel like I get one color from the canvas, on the canvas. Just one brush stroke. Just one brush stroke. And all the other games are ignored. And I'm like, okay. You know? Like Death Stranding 2, for example. Did anybody get upset at Hideo Kojima for doing that? Was anybody like, oh, I can't believe he's doing a sequel? he expands and evolves the world and the systems and the way it all played out, and people were thrilled when they saw the trailer. I'm a little worn out by Santa Monica milking God of War spin-offs. Explain to me that sentence. How have they been milking God of War spin-offs? Where? 2018 and Ragnarok? I'm over the Horizon franchise, but I'm dying for the next Sucker Punch Ghost game? I mean, it sounds like you're just saying what games you like and don't like. Again, I always feel like I press on it, and I'm like, I really don't get what's behind this. The number of games. 3 games counting Lao Fei. Okay. I mean, if that's your opinion that they're milking God of War with that, as they admitted the plan was to always do the side story with Lao Fei, an adjacent story based on the events that happened in 2018 and Ragnarok. You just contradicted yourself, Lona. You criticized me for citing God of War 2018 as a new IP, and then you turn around and you cite Helldivers 2. No, I didn't contradict myself. I said that if we're going to count God of War 2018 as a new IP, then we should be able to count Astrobot, as it was like a completely new type of game. And then I said, in a similar way, Helldivers 2, you could basically say, essentially felt like a new IP because it was so much different than Helldivers 1. So I didn't contradict myself. I literally said, if you're going to count God of War 2018 as a new IP last gen, then there are games like, in my estimation, Helldivers 2 and Astrobot that you would count and say, like, these are complete reimaginings of what these games are. Like, Helldivers 2 is nothing like Helldivers 1, and Astrobot is nothing like the previous Astro games. So, again, I would agree with you that God of War 2018, in essence, felt like a new IP, which means if that's what we're going to be saying, then okay, well then, yeah, I think Helldivers 2 would be considered that it felt like a new IP, similar to Astrobot. So, yeah. Would you count Siphon Filter as a new IP if it got a reboot? I don't know. Here's the dilemma with a discussion like this. I think more about the experience than the superficial concern over exterior labels. So that's why I said Astrobot essentially felt like a new IP, and I conceded that, yeah, you could say God of War 2018, in essence, it felt like a new IP because it's this brand new experience. It's nothing like the previous games. And I said the same thing about Helldivers 2. I don't care about these superficial external things. They don't matter to me. They don't. Like, Sorrows was essentially a spiritual sequel to Returnal, and I'm thrilled that they did it. Housemarque was able to take something that they built, and they really mastered it. They really evolved it. See, something that I think the negativity about sequels ignores, and this is why I always feel like people are self-reporting. It's like, did you play the sequels? Because the sequels improved and evolved and made things better. Isn't that literally what we ask for? We ask for improvement, innovation, evolution. Aren't these some of the hallmarks of what we expect from studios? And sequels are one of the best ways to do that. So I feel like when people like poo-poo sequels, it's like there's other ways to admit you didn't play any of them. Because if you played them, you'd know they were significant upgrades. Spider-Man 2 versus 1, Forbidden West versus Zero Dawn, Sorrows versus Returnal. These upgrades were fantastic. Yote versus Tsushima. New IP are more exciting. That's just opinion. Why is it so hard to understand? It's not hard to understand. It's very easy to understand. It is a presumption that's not backed by anything other than your opinion. I'm speaking directly about Sony first party because they are the standard bearer. Sequels are safe. Yeah, that just presumes negativity. I'm not compelled to your position because I think it's forced. I don't think it's a genuine assessment of the game's quality. It's an exterior, arbitrary measurement of value that has no bearing on whether or not the games were good or fun. It's completely manufactured. You're not measuring the game according to like the combat, the story, the world, the innovation, the systems. It's, I think new IPs are more exciting, therefore sequels are safe. Okay. Okay, that's just your opinion. That's not compelling. That would be like me saying, I think games with guns are better. Melee games are safe. So then I'm mad that Control Resonant doesn't have a gun in it. Like, you could just make exterior criteria to like act like a game is no good or it's less than because it doesn't do this thing that you want it to do. Like, and here's the other thing. Like, new IP are exciting is your premise. It's hard to disagree with the premise because, like, nobody sees a new IP and is like, boring, unless, of course, it's a new IP that's, like, incredibly derivative, right? Like, Crimson Desert was just, like, a game of derivatives. But the point is that fades pretty fast once you're in the game. Like, I love to give credit to new IPs. Like, I've said very many times that Pragmata is one of the best new IPs I've played. I think it is the best new IP I've played since Expedition 33 or Returnal. Okay? So I love to give new IPs their credit. But eventually, you're in the game, and what matters is the game. The design of the game. The feel of the game. Yeah, Concord was a new IP. Marathon was a complete reboot of an IP. Like, it's nothing like the original. You can improve on things in a new IP. Also, isn't Spider-Man an innovation of Sunset Overdrive? You think Spider-Man is an innovation of Sunset Overdrive? They had to build the entire web swinging and slinging thing. They talked about how they had to build that from scratch. What are you talking about? It wasn't... They made both games, but I don't think they're related in the way that you're trying to claim that they're related. The innovation and the evolution of, like, Spider-Man's traversal from Spider-Man 1 to 2 is a one-to-one thing that you can, like, compare. Look up all the sales of the Uncharted games. It proved that each sequel sold better. Yeah, like, was anybody upset that they got all the way to Uncharted 4? Like, I'm not saying that you can't innovate within a new IP. I wasn't saying that. That you're kind of shadowboxing a little bit. Like, my position wasn't that you can't innovate in a new IP. What I was saying is that you yield a lot of benefits by going from one game to the next because of all the institutional knowledge, the world sets, animation sets, textures, like just the way the world operates, right? Like when we went from Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West, one of the reasons they were able to go crazy with some of the stuff, like Forbidden West has some insane environments, really, really cool robots to fight. Like the boss fight in Burning Shores is ridiculously cool. But one of the reasons they were able to do that is they were standing on the shoulders of their own work. Like, you're saying you've and the reason I'm pushing back on what you're saying, and I don't agree with it, is I'm so like convictionally opposed to this. Is like You're making it sound like a negative thing, like, oh, it's safe. Brother, have you ever watched a deep dive in how these games are made? It's insane the level of work and talent and pedigree and money that it takes to make these games. And you're like, oh, they stand on the shoulders of their own work and improve it and make it better. And that's safe. And I'm like, what an incredibly pessimistic and cynical way to look at the work that these studios have done. Like, it's so cynical. It's like, if they would have played it safe in one of the sequels, I'm sure we could have a conversation about that. But I really felt like these studios did a great job of really elevating their craft in their sequels. Spider-Man 2, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Yote. I think they did great work. I really do. Even and the funny thing is how many times have we heard people complain that we didn't get a sequel to Days Gone? And that would just be one more game in your list of like, it was safe and not as exciting as a new IP. I'm all for sequels, but sprinkle new games in between. For example, why is Guerrilla making Call of the Mountain? I don't think they made Call of the Mountain. I think they helped, but that was a VR game. They didn't make the Horizon Lego game. And yes, there's a portion of the team working on Hunter's Gathering, which I think is a waste of time. I don't think that's a good use of their bandwidth. But your other examples, I don't believe were them. I know for a fact they didn't make the Lego game. And I don't think they were the primary developer on Call of the Mountain either. That was a VR team. They probably assisted, but they didn't. I don't think they were the primary development team. It takes 5 years or longer now. Anything can happen. Another element to this conversation that I do think commonly gets lost, and I appreciate the respectful back and forth. It's helping us pass the time here. But I think what gets lost in this conversation commonly is the larger the studio, the larger the budget. So you using the word safe, there's an element of truth to that. They have to play it a little bit more safe because if not, they're putting people's jobs at risk. They're putting the studio at risk. So yes, to a certain extent, when you get to that size and you get to that operational cost level, you have to be careful. You can't just throw caution to the wind and be like, oh, we had a good Spider-Man game. Let's make a game about Chuckles the Clown. You know what I'm saying? You can't just throw caution to the wind. Guerrilla co-developed Call of the Mountain and the Lego game. Right. The number of people that worked on Call of the Mountain and Lego game doesn't really substantiate your point that, like, why are they wasting time on other games? Because your position was, well, they could sprinkle in other games, as if they can just, like, snap their fingers and create another game because they were helping with these other... It's not like Guerrilla could be like, hey, in between Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, let's just whip up a new game. That's not a thing. Like, the point that I'm making right now is literally like, games are expensive and they take a really long time to make. So you can't just like whip up a new game. Look at Returnal Marathon, Wolverine Now, Intergalactic. In what regard, OA? That like they're new IPs? My point is that, and the point I was getting ready to make is, there is space in the market for new IP all of the time. It's why you got a Returnal. It's why you got a Stellar Blade. It's why you got a Rise of the Ronin. It's why you got a Pragmata. I mean, there is space in the market for new IP. But, and this goes all the way back to what started this conversation. Pour out one for Chuckles the Clown. What could have been? That's right. Thank you for the $5 super chat tip. This goes all the way back to what started this conversation. Disappointment, frustration is equal to the chasm between what you expected and what you got. So I don't know why anybody would have walked into this generation and expected Santa Monica, Guerrilla, Insomniac, and Sucker Punch to not do sequels. Why was that your expectation? Do you see? I think your expectation is unjustified. It's like, wait, so they made Spider-Man and it was a hit, and God of War 2018, hit, Horizon Zero Dawn, hit. These are commercially just massively successful games, and your expectation going into PS5 was they're not gonna do sequels. I think your expectation is just completely misaligned. That's your own fault. We all were expecting sequels. Nobody was surprised when we saw the trailers. Like, I can't believe they're doing another one. No, the only one that surprised me was the trailer for Soros, which is a spiritual sequel. It's not a true sequel. Whole new world, lore, story, IP, whole new protagonist. It's a spiritual sequel. That was the only one that surprised me. Spider-Man 2, Forbidden West, Ragnarok, Yote, none of those were surprising. They were almost expected, to the point that everyone's scratching their head about no Days Gone 2. DP Sage with 51 months, welcome back. I'm finally back, my boy. I missed a few shows, but I'm glad my Kingdom Hearts 4 is getting more love and attention. Rip the hit. Yeah, rest in peace. That was so sad. Expected, I was asking for them. Vendor says, to me, the happy medium would be for studios to do sequels, but not a direct follow-up to the previous release. Examples, The Last of Us after Uncharted, Red Dead after GTA. Ronan was very mediocre. I liked it. I mean, I don't think it was like Game of the Year worthy, but I put a ton of hours into it. I thought the combat system in Ronan was quite good. I thought it was quite good. It was very enjoyable. I mean, it's Team Ninja after all. New IPs take longer. A sequel can be made in 5 years. New IPs take 7 years plus. Well, not necessarily 7 years plus, but to your point, let's set the numbers aside because some of the sequels were around 4 years. But to your point, yes, the sequel is faster. We would have all been sitting around waiting for games, and then people would have been belly aching about the fact that we didn't get enough games if they would have been doing new IPs instead of sequels. I am never going to try to convince you to feel differently, but what I always kind of gather from these conversations is that people are being negative about this generation, and their reasons are literally, it's just like I say, it's Calvin ball. You're just making up score sheets to claim things stink. And I'm like, why do that? Like, I wasn't playing Spider-Man 2 being like, man, I really wish Insomniac would have done a new IP. I was like, this is sick. This is really fun. Ward Huff with the gifted. Thank you so much, getting us to 118. Like, I don't think I played any of these games and thought, yeah, their time would have been better spent not doing a sequel. The culmination of the events in Ragnarok and then the free update in Valhalla? Are you kidding me? How could you possibly be disappointed that Santa Monica did that? It was great. It was great. What? They should have done a new IP? Like, what? I also think it's weird to me. Do you have this same standard for studios like the Coalition that, like, that's basically their game now? They make Gears? What about Halo? Do you have the same attitude toward them? What about Gran Turismo? What about Forza? Do you see? Do you have issues with that? That, like, a studio that becomes like, that's the thing that they do, right? Like, that's their game. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get upset about this. It only seems to happen with respect to, like, the PlayStation studios. It's super weird. I'm like, is anybody upset that, like, the Coalition is like, that's the Gears of War studio? Is anybody upset about that? And it's like, oh yeah, they should just stop making Gears. What? Why? I can't think of a reason why anybody would complain about that. Studios become known for the thing that they do. Hades 2. Slay the Spire 2. Like, Witcher 2, Witcher 3. Now, CD Projekt Red deviated with Cyberpunk, and now that, then they're coming back with Witcher 4, which they're not calling it Witcher 4. But, like, Turn 10 only makes Forza. Well, Forza Motorsport. Yeah. Gamers will complain about sequels, but then always buy Mario and Zelda and Kratos, etc. Gamers say they don't want remakes, but they buy every single one Nintendo makes. The contradiction is normal. Well, I said this earlier. I think the loud voices on the internet are nothing compared to the loud voices of the public's wallet. Like, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced exceeded Ubisoft's expectations. And everybody's all down about remakes. And then that's one we should be celebrating. It is such an excellent remake. I just have really enjoyed it. They did such a good job. And it's such an old game that, what's wonderful? It feels like a brand new game to me. I feel like I'm getting to play a new game because it's been so long since I played the game. I never said this one stinks. I just don't think it's as good as the last one, that's all. Right. You were expressing dissatisfaction, so I wasn't trying to put words in your mouth. I was summarizing these conversations. The theme of these conversations is that this generation's not been as good, or you're dissatisfied with it. And then anytime I push on that dissatisfaction, I'm like, I don't know why your expectations were what they were. Who told you to expect that? Who told you to expect Santa Monica, Guerrilla, Sucker Punch, Insomniac, anybody else that's doing a sequel? Who told you to expect all of them to not do sequels? I'm not sure where that expectation came from. I'm not sure. Because I was on the other end of the spectrum. I got exposed to PlayStation games with Spider-Man 1, God of War 2018, and then I played Tsushima once they did the update or whatever. And all I could think of, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. And all I could think was, I hope they make another one. Maybe I'm a man of simple tastes. I like gunpowder. Like, I'm a man of simple tastes. Like, if you give me something and I'm like, that was dope, I'm like, make another one. Because then they can improve it, they can evolve it. It's why I screamed my head off when I saw the Housemarque logo. Because I knew I was going to get a spiritual sequel to Returnal, which is one of my all-time favorite games. When I was playing Days Gone, I remember thinking the same thing. Oh, man, I really hope they make another one of these. This is so great. Stagnation. Do you really think the Coalition loves working only on Gears? I bet they're bored. That's pretty presumptive, don't you think? That's pretty presumptive. id Software made Doom 2016, then Doom Eternal, and then Doom the Dark Ages. And then they made Doom the Dark Ages Revelations DLC, which was exceptionally, it was awesome. And I think they were having a ball doing it. Hang on, what's this? The biggest issue is the content creator because they burn through so much content. And it tells them the game is what their followers cry. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that discussion. Yeah, I just keep coming back to, I don't know what formed your expectation. I've been gaming since the original Nintendo, and my expectation has been for a very long time. If I play a game, it's dope. Other people agree it's dope, and the sales agree that it's dope. I expect to get another one. Whether it's Mario Kart or Horizon, doesn't matter. That's just my expectation. I don't know where the expectation came from that, like, Oh, they built they built a Spider-Man game. They built a game called Ghost of Tsushima. They rebooted God of War with 2018. Oh, this new IP, Horizon Zero Dawn. All these games were smash hits. Well, better enjoy it while it lasts. They won't make another one. Like, where does that even come from? Like, that's what I mean. Like, so you just thought all these studios were going to walk away from these incredibly successful launches? Huh? It's so weird. I don't get it. Stellar Blade, another example. Stellar Blade did so well, and guess what? You're getting another one. Are you upset that they're doing that? Is it a bummer that Shift Up decided to do a sequel? I'm going to say something really, really upsetting. Frickin' darn it. I hope we get another Astrobot. Frickin' darn it. Like, it was so good. Do another one. Make another one, dude. Resident Evil 9 was so good. Liza P is working on a sequel. I don't understand. Yeah, we're getting a sequel to Cuphead. I don't get it. What did we say when we rolled credits on Pragmata? So many of us are like, I really hope they do another one. You can make a playable commercial for your stuff and get away with it once, twice. Yeah, it's not a playable commercial. It's just a super, super amazing and charming platformer. It's so good. It's so good. It's just, it's such a fun time. Lono, I for one cannot believe they made a Mega Man 2. It's all presumptive. We're all playing armchair dev here. Well, a lot of what I'm stating and a lot of what I'm saying about development, I'm echoing things that developers have said. You are not. You are acting like it's an indictment and they're playing it safe and they're not as exciting. And I just don't agree with you. You know? Space Wolf says Housemarque might make it to PS6, back-to-back low sales. There's other ways to admit you know nothing about the studio. I'd inform you, but you probably don't care to be informed. So I'll let you continue to believe that Housemarque's in financial danger. Thank you, Jerry, for the $2 super chat. Give me my Pragmata sequel, you cowards. Well, hopefully everybody keeps that same energy. Are you upset we're getting a sequel to Control? Oh no, Control 2, Control Resonant, sequel to Control. Can't believe Remedy's over there playing it safe. I forgot to schedule the stream. We were in such a good debate. Lono, one thing I like that you do is you try a game, and if it's not your cup of tea, you tell us why, and you don't make false claims about the game. Oh, yeah. I do that. If I don't like a game, I'll just straight up tell you guys. I'm like, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I won't try to be like, I won't try to create some figment, like, story about it. Hang on. Let me schedule this stream. Can it not do this? It's doing this stupid thing again where I can't scroll down when I go to create the dadgum stream. YouTube has really, really borked their interface for scheduling live streams. It's like it doesn't work half the time. I can't scroll down. It just keeps permanently scrolling back up. I'm constantly having to refresh the interface. Let's see here. We'll do anyone, actually. Maximilian Dude played Marvel's Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, didn't a bunch of people get to play a preview and talk about it? It's not like a full review, though. All right, let me set up redirect. And then we'll redirect here in about 15 minutes, so that way the actual past broadcast of the event is super short. I was all in on Wolverine until I saw that boss fight. Had to cancel my pre-order. It sucks. Oh, I'm so shocked that that's your take, Incredible Black. And I fully believe what you're saying to be true. Hopefully the sarcasm was thick enough. Give me a second. I'll be right back. It's not sarcasm. I literally canceled it. No, I was being sarcastic. I don't believe you. I mean, no, you know what? I do believe you. You watched all the trailers up to this point. You were convinced. You pre-ordered it. And you canceled it because of one piece of footage from one boss fight. That seems like a totally reasonable thing to do. You're right. You're right. Actually, I believe you. That seems like something that you would do. It's weird how Phantom Blade Zero devs hid their previous side-scroller games as if they're embarrassed about it. Huh? How do you hide games? What do you mean? Lono almost canceled Wolverine because of a lazy eye. The boss fight trailer. I mean, people are turning that Sentinel fight. It's to me, it's a hilarious display of people who LARP and grift and don't play video games. That's all. And they're acting like that it's bad enough that they're going to cancel their pre-orders. I canceled it also. Yeah, again. You guys have become punchlines in my content. What you say is just it's clearly that you're just trying to get reactions. You just become punchlines. I totally believe you. I totally believe that you saw everything up to this point and you pre-ordered and you canceled. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess I should believe you. It matches your intelligence level. So I mean, I don't know why I'm doubting. You know what I mean? What's up with the hostility? We don't have to assume people are lying. It's from people who commonly come in and bait and try to disrupt with console tribalism. So I don't believe them. They're leaning into a very, very like concerted effort to hate on that game. It's all over Twitter. So no, I don't believe them. I don't believe that somebody watched the footage up to this point and pre-ordered the game. And then they were like, I'm canceling because of the footage of the Sentinel fight. I don't believe them. That doesn't make any sense. That's not normal behavior. It wasn't like a controversy. It wasn't like we're not going to be able to use our claws. It's like it's one little loop of a fight. 187 says I can't get it anyway. Do you see what I'm saying? He was trolling. He was trolling. That's what do you see what I'm saying? My instinct's pretty sharp on this. No one's doing that. No one's doing that. Yeah, I'm going to drop $70 on a game. It looks sick. And then you see footage of the Sentinel fight and you're like, I'm out. Like, get out of here. That's what I said. They've become punchlines. They're a joke to me. They're not serious people. They're not having a serious dialogue. They're jokes. They're walking, talking punchlines. So desperate for attention. They'll just say stuff. They'll just make stuff up. It's tiring. You see, Derek, he doesn't even have a PlayStation. That's why I said they're punchlines. They're jokes to me. I don't take what they say seriously. I mock them every time they come in because it's what they deserve. They're just trying to bait. That's all it is. I dropped $70 on a game, and I canceled it because of 5 seconds of a Sentinel fight. Sure you did. Sure, Jan. I bet you did. Weak bait. Weak bait. You fight a massive Sentinel in production during the first 90 minutes of the game, thinking it's indicative of a later game fight when you have more abilities. I don't believe you. Well, and it's also clear from the footage, it's like a prototype. Like the one they showed in the one trailer, it's like an actual Sentinel that mimics what they look like in the cartoon. And the one they're fighting in the footage, it's like, it's not even all the way put together. You know? People change their minds and cancel pre-orders. That's pretty normal. I think something that you are commonly forgetting, Derek, along with the other people that get on this wavelength that you're on right now, is you forget that I've been doing this for a decade, and I remember people's names, and I remember what they do, and I remember when they're trollish, and they do baits, and they just try to rile the chat up. So when they do it, I call it out. If you don't like it, sorry. I've been doing this long enough to know. He literally just admitted that he made it up, Derek. My instinct was he was saying it to troll, and 187 admitted that that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? You've been teaching for a long time. If one of your kids was trying to pull a fast one on you and you knew it and called them out, and I'd be like, why are you being so hostile? You'd be like, I've been doing this long enough to know when a kid's pulling a fast one. You know what I mean? Maybe trust the guy with a decade of experience. And the guy admitted it. He admitted he was trolling. Thank you, Sal, for 2 singles and a 5-bomb. He gets us to 125. You don't remember me? You NorCal's garbage man? Come on. Guy got called out, got caught, and admitted it. Just because I'm trolling, others may not be. Whatever. We can't say weak bait after chewing on the bait for 10 minutes. No, I call it what it is so that people in chat know not to take them serious. I'm literally marking them. I want the chat and the public to know when these guys come in and do this, don't take them serious. It's bait. Laugh at them. They're punchlines. They're not here to have a serious conversation. It's literally a form of being dismissive. Like, it's like you can just ignore it and then they'll just keep saying it until you say something. I'm looking forward to the console covers for the Pro. Yeah, I actually was surprised they did anything physical. I really was. I was like, I didn't think we were going to get controllers. I didn't think we were going to get covers. That's Mr. NorCal Garbage Man. That's right. Yeah, I think the console covers are sick. I think the controllers don't look... I don't know. The controllers are too generic. I didn't like the controllers as much as the covers. You can't even really tell the controllers are necessarily Wolverine. Because it's just like a slash across the middle. I thought they could have made the controllers more branded to Wolverine. That's what I think. The cases are, and the cases are cool because you can like see inside the PlayStation. The controllers are dope. I'm not saying they're not dope. I just felt like they looked kind of generic. Like they literally could look like Michigan Wolverine controllers. Like it's like, well, what? They're not exactly branded to the character of Wolverine. There's just 3 slashes across the middle. I don't know. I like the Spider-Man controller that I got. I like the Astrobot controllers. And I like the God of War controllers are pretty good. I don't know. The Wolverine controllers just looked very generic to me. Hang on. I owe you guys some members. The 100 and the 125. Thank you, Sal, for topping us off at 125. You're going to get the yellow covers? Yeah, I thought it was cool that the yellow covers had, like, you could see through them. I thought that was cool. You're debating between regular and adamantium? Yeah. We know why the Ohio guy doesn't care for the controllers now. No, that'd be my wife. I don't care that much about that, but I just think they look generic. I mean, you know how that is with something cosmetic like that. It either hooks you or it doesn't. And I laid eyes on the controllers and thought, like, they didn't do anything for me. They again, I felt like they looked generic. I'm not hating on them and telling people not to order them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to claim that I pre-ordered one of the controllers and then canceled it because I saw the back of it had a color I didn't like. I saw that Sentinel fight and I canceled my pre-order of the controller. The simplicity of the controller is what does it for me. Well, yeah, I mean, that maybe it is. Like, maybe that's why you like it, and that's why I don't. Yeah. It just, because of the simplicity. I do like the white controller because of the two-tone. I think the white with the gray or black or whatever you would call it. I do like that. But The slashes across the front just look kind of generic to me. Yes, Broken Surprise. That Derek in chat. Yeah, that's Brono. Okay, we need to switch gears. We need to go to the new stream. I like to have the waiting rooms kind of separate. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys link. You guys on Twitch don't have to do anything. The guys on YouTube will need to switch. Let me get the thumbnail swapped now. What is it now? All right, save image. Work at 3 a.m. No worries. I watch that guy's shorts. That farmer guy's hilarious. He literally has given me something that I say all the time to my children now. When I come in the room and they're fighting, I am always saying, "What is it now? I got to get a different pair of headphones. This isn't going to work." I think I've ruined the jack on these bows. Yeah, that's like ruined. I can't get it lined up anymore. I don't know if it's the cable or if it's the headphones. I'm gonna have to go get a different pair. Unfortunately I yanked the stupid cable out too many times. Hang on. Okay, there we go. I'll have to use these Sennheisers. They are not my preference. I'm really going to miss my Bose headphones. I don't even know if the cable I ordered is going to fix the problem. I might have actually damaged the jack by... I would just constantly accidentally pull the cable out, you know. I'd like move my leg or uncross my leg and bam, I'd yank it out. You ever use it in OBS yourself? I don't even know how I would do that because I think it's always delayed. Like, yeah, it's delayed. It's terrible. As soon as I go to do it, I can tell it's not right. It's like a half a second behind. It's not actual mic monitoring. It'll like do your head in because it's constantly behind. All right, you guys on YouTube, I don't like doing the smooth transition anymore because it takes so long, but we're going to do it this time. We're going to do it this time because I want to make sure that we just get over there and get rolling. So I don't want to make you guys wait. So here's what we're going to do. There's a link in chat. Do me a favor and use that to go to the new stream, and I'll also redirect you. If it doesn't work, it should be the featured video on the channel. Okay? Yeah, I can turn down the mic monitoring now with these headphones. These headphones are very different. All right, here we go. Oh, let me get the member goal up for you guys so you can see it. We are close to the... We were going for a stretch today of 150, because if we get 150 every day, you're on pace to unlock the community game with Madam again on Saturday. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're watching the past broadcast, you're going to need to skip ahead by 27 minutes. You can see the countdown over there. 27 minutes to the Phantom Blade Zero state of play. Yes, I was live at 10 p.m. Eastern. It was late. We had a good time, I hope. I'm saying that, hoping. I'm going to will that into existence. We had a great waiting room. So as you guys are watching this later, you're watching it right now, please be sure to hit that like button. I am going to end the previous stream, and I'm going to bring people over with redirect. And that is a great way to jumpstart a new stream. So do me a favor and hit that like button. And